Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Eric McKay, and this is News Channel Nebraska. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in the unicameral, where the so-called bathroom bill is set for a fight in Lincoln. It's year 2 of the legislature's battle over transgender youth, and a filibuster is expected by opponents of the bill. Joe Jordan has more.
Nebraska's transgender battle is back. Lawmakers expect it to take on legislation that keeps biological boys out of girls' locker rooms and bathrooms, and those biological boys from playing on girls' teams. The debate starting over a year ago.
Biological male athletes have an unfair advantage over female athletes. They are stronger, bigger, and faster, even after taking feminizing hormones. Adolescence is a tumultuous time for young people. Natural changes that come with puberty can be awkward and embarrassing. Allowing biological males or females into each other's private spaces will cause extreme discomfort and distress for many students.
Don't be a hammer looking for a nail. Don't go looking for a fight.
Ralston State Senator Merv Reapy convinced the bill's not needed, that schools are ahead of the game.
And the superintendents that I've talked to, and that's about a handful, have said, I asked them, how do you handle this? And they said, what we do is, with great respect, we meet with the families and the student, and we try to do what's best for the student without any embarrassment to them.
Back in that committee room, the public joined the fight.
During my senior year of high school, I was the runner-up in the 800 meters with a time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And the first place girl won Class B with a time of 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Of the 24 boys who qualified in the 800, every single one ran faster than the girls' champion. And it wasn't by a small margin. The 24th place boy 800 meter runner finished the race in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. To put that into perspective, the last place boy would still finish just shy of 100 meters ahead of the first place girl.
I was a queer kid who struggled to navigate a very cisgender and heteronormative environment. I'm here today to be a reminder that queer Nebraskans exist despite the state's active efforts to erase us.
A year ago, Koth fought and won a close fight pushing legislation prohibiting minors from getting sex changes. Another close fight is likely this time as well. In Omaha, Joe Jordan, News Channel, Nebraska.
Property taxes have also been a focal point this legislature, but one of the architects of tax reform is now watching from the sidelines. Current state treasurer Tom Breezy was in the same shoes as lawmakers, serving as 41st District Representative from 2017 to 2023. Now, LB 388 potentially could pass a first round of voting by raising sales taxes up to 1%. Breezy says with no reform, ag producers in the state will be burdened by red ink.
We still rely far too heavily on property taxes in Nebraska, and our unreasonable, unsustainable over-reliance on property taxes to fund local government continues to curtail economic growth in our state, and we have to do something about it.
Breezy points out that the current K-12 funding in Nebraska is also short. He says tax reform would help address that need as well. The biggest factor now is time. The legislature is set to end its session on April 18th. In economic news, America's employers delivered another outpouring of jobs in March, adding 303,000 workers to their payrolls. It's bolstering hope from experts that the economy can vanquish inflation without succumbing to a recession in the face of high interest rates. Last month's job growth was up from a revised 270,000 in February and far above the 200,000 that economists had forecast. By any measure, it amounts to a strong month of hiring and has reflected the economy's ability to withstand the pressure of high borrowing costs resulting from the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes. With the nation's consumers continuing to spend, many employers have kept hiring to meet steady customer demand. The unemployment rate went down 3.8% nationally from 3.9% in February. So what about the Federal Reserve? Well, analysts have said they're expecting interest rate cuts sometime in June or July. But what if that doesn't happen? A man with some influence over the Fed is floating the possibility of no cuts this year, and that has investors worried. Amy Kiley has the latest.
Despite the usual closing bell cheers, many investors seem nervous. They hear talk of the Federal Reserve Board possibly not cutting rates this year. Key among those talking is Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank President Neil Kashkari. He says cuts are still on the table, but
if we continue to see strong job growth, if we continue to see strong consumer spending and strong GDP growth, then that raises a question in my mind. Well, why would we cut rates? Maybe the dynamics that we have right now are actually sustainable.
Kashkari has a voice and some years a vote on a panel that influences the Fed board. It's called the Federal Open Market Committee. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says most of its members are more optimistic.
If the economy evolves broadly as we expect, most FOMC participants see it as likely to be appropriate to begin lowering the policy rate at some point this year.
But Powell's not promising a rate cut this year. He says the overall inflation trend is good, but recent reports are not.
On inflation, it is too soon to say whether the recent readings represent more than just a bump. We do not expect that it will be appropriate to lower our policy rate until we have greater confidence.
One of those bumps is oil prices hitting a 5-month high yesterday.
Both of those things together certainly delivered a pretty good 1-2 punch for markets.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
From the federal checking account to a much smaller one, some youngsters from Pender being recognized for their efforts in financial literacy. Governor Jim Pillen declared April Financial Literacy Awareness Month on Thursday. The governor hosted the Nebraska Department of Banking and Finance and the Nebraska Council on Economic Education in a ceremony at the Capitol. Also on hand, kids from the Pendragon branch of Charter West Bank and Pender Public Schools, a financial literacy program that teaches kids the ins and outs of personal finance.
At the conclusion of this school year, I plan to take the money that I've been saving each week and open a real savings account at the bank, and I will continue to save for my long-term goal of purchasing my own car. It has been very rewarding to watch my savings account grow penny by penny and dollar by dollar over the years.
The branch is part of the Council on Economic Education's in-school savings program, which gives elementary school students the opportunity to try their skills as school branch tellers and provide students a lesson in how to save for their futures. A renovated building in Norfolk is hoping to help Northeast Nebraskans get in touch with their creative side. Ryan Pattee has more.
Several community leaders gathered along Norfolk Avenue Thursday to welcome a new educational workspace in the city. Northeast Community College broke ground on an innovation hub called the iHub in Norfolk. The community college plans for the building to be a makerspace and youth STEM center featuring wood and metal shops, a robotics and automation lab, collaboration spaces, and more. NECC President Leah Barrett said the iHub is an opportunity for Northeast Nebraskans to explore and innovate their community.
It is a place where we can celebrate, full of windows, full of life, full of children, full of people that want to make a difference and want to figure out what those jobs of the future are.
U.S. Congressman Mike Flood said places like the iHub help keep young entrepreneurs in Nebraska and prepare young workers for a country more focused on automation.
They need to come in here and they need to make tomorrow's solutions using technology and robotics, because we are going to be automating more and more jobs every single day. And we have to be one of the only cities our size in the United States that's made this kind of an investment for all the right reasons.
Norfolk Mayor Josh Moaning said the iHub is a testament to Norfolk's dedication to growing and of thinking outside the box.
Norfolk has to work twice as hard to attract the opportunities it gets. So that's unfortunate, but it's also beneficial, because it's engendered in us, in our community over the years, an entrepreneurial spirit that I wouldn't trade for anything.
NECC plans to begin the renovations this month and have the building ready for use by August of 2025. Congressman Mike Flood is the founder and an owner of Flood Communications, which owns News Channel Nebraska. Reporting in Norfolk for News Channel Nebraska, I'm Ryan Pattee.
And finally, a major new sports complex is closer to becoming a reality in central Nebraska. Michael Shively brings us this latest update.
I'll do mine after yours.
These signatures carry some extra weight for the Brandt family.
On there. Do you want me to do mine?
As a city employee, Lauren Brandt saw voters approve funding for the Kearney Sportsplex. Now, as Sportsplex manager, she's with her kids, sharing a milestone moment in the city's biggest project ever.
To be able to see them at this young age and then know that they'll get to grow at this complex too, again, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.